FilmBugs, to another exciting journey into the world of film and entertainment. I'm your host, Lila Filmington. Today, we're recapping and reviewing episode 30 of the hit Filipino show Regal Shocker, Kamay ni Bay. This episode features Dranreb Belleza as Totong. Let's take a moment to appreciate his unique name. For those unfamiliar with Filipino customs, Dranreb is simply Bernard, spelled backward. In the Philippines, it's quite common to create variations of a parent's name for their child. Instead of going with the traditional Bernard Jr., his parents opted for this creative twist. Often, Filipino parents also combine their names to create a new one for their child. The more you know. The episode also stars Augusto Victa as Bay, Leni Santos as Lota, and Jaime Castillo as Charlie. Before we dive in, please note that this review contains spoilers. If you haven't seen the episode yet, you can watch it on YouTube by clicking the link in the top right corner. Then, come back and join us for the discussion. The story revolves around an elderly man named Mang Bay, who works as a janitor at a school in exchange for living in a small shack on the school grounds. Mang Bay has a deformity in his right arm that appears crusty and resembles a skin disease. He lives with his unofficially adopted son, Totong, who has mental challenges. Totong assists Mang Bay with his janitorial duties at the school. Both Mang Bay and Totong frequently face bullying from a school thug named Charlie and a school building inspector named Mang Bay. One day, Bay and Totong discovered that the bullies who had tormented them earlier were using a classroom after school to deal and use drugs, specifically weed, which is also known as wacky tobacco, or the devil's lettuce. By the way, I recognized one of Charlie's goons from our previous review. He played one of the drinking buddies of the greatest detective ever. Remember him? But let's focus on this guy. From the comments, I learned his name is Gardo Versosa. I remember him starring in many provocative films in the 90s. In this episode, though, he's now one of the goons. At least, I think it's him. He looks a bit ratty in this one. Please do confirm or not down in the comments section. He then informed the building inspector, Mang Bay, who was clearly in cahoots with the gang, as he immediately ratted out Mang Bay to Charlie. Charlie then confronted Bay and Totong about meddling in his devil's lettuce operation. After a few heated exchanges, Charlie knocked Totong unconscious. Bay tried to retaliate, but being old and slow, Charlie easily blocked his attack and stabbed him. It seemed like it could have ended there, but for some inexplicable reason, Charlie took his machete and chopped off Mang Bay's crusty arm. When Totong regained consciousness, he found Mang Bay dying and cradled him in his arms. In the aftermath of Mang Bay's death, the unscrupulous building inspector Tugay offered Totong food and shelter in exchange for keeping quiet and helping clean the school. Meanwhile, Lota's best friend confided in Totong, who admitted his love for Lota despite his disappointment that she was dating the head goon, Charlie. One night, while Lota and Charlie indulged in some of those sweet, sweet devil's lettuce, Totong spied on them like a true perv. Lota caught him and warned him to stop before Charlie give him an ass whoopin'. Then, we saw Bay's grotesque, now evolved hairy hand with sharp metal claws approaching Charlie. You can guess what happened next. The next day, Lota denied ever having a relationship with the recently murdered Charlie and seemed more concerned about the prom, much to Totong's delight. That night, Totong had a brief whiny moment with Bay's grotesque hand. Mang Bay found Lota lingering in the classroom after school, still under the influence. He approached her, offered more weed, and professed his love while attempting to have some sexy time. However, she was sober enough to reject his advances. Well, she actually said she'll never be high enough to be attracted to him, calling him a goo-rung or an old fart, and swiftly kicking him in the wiener when he tried advancing on her. As he tried to chase her, but hindered by his aching nuts, Bay's werewolf hand, or a poor man's Wolverine claws, struck again. Meanwhile, Totong attended prom night, hoping the flying kiss Lota had given him earlier would lead to something more. After all, he had been spending way too much time with Bai's crusty hand. But instead of a kind gesture, Lota humiliated him in front of everyone. Karma doesn't wait in this show and swiftly delivers vengeance against naughty Lota.
You're naughty!
Devastated by losing the chance for a better hand. I meant chance for love. Totong runs home and demands the he-wolf hand to finish him off. Not in that way, I mean to end his life since his love is gone. Kamay ni Bai happily obliges, bringing us to the end of the story. This episode was more funny than scary. It's really difficult to keep a straight face throughout, especially during the scenes when he was talking to the crusty hand. We're giving this episode a 4 out of 10 for at least being entertaining. As always, we appreciate you spending your time with us. Please like, comment, subscribe, and click on that bell icons for future notifications. Before I leave you, here's a short clip of an alternate ending to the episode. What if Kamay ni Bai didn't kill Totong? We hope you enjoy it, and until next time, FilmBugs, this is Lila signing off. Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat.
Takot ako. So, bantay, toto ya.